Hello, welcome back to my channel, Anna Morfides with Mending Hearts Counseling. And today's video is going to be all about how do we show ourselves love. So this is inspired by an actual session that I've had over the past week with a really beautiful soul that I work with, and they literally were asking me this question: Anna, how do I show myself more love? Like, how do I love myself more? And why did we even have that be a part of our discussion in the first place? Is because this person was finding that when they were allowing themselves to feel their feelings, i.e. not using numbing mechanisms such as smoking and or alcohol, when they were able to be in their truest present self without any of the numbing mechanisms, when they were allowed to feel their feelings, they would go to the question, why can't anyone love me? Or why can't I find love? That is the question that was coming up for them. So then naturally, what I would want to figure out is, first of all, their childhood. How was it that they were raised? Because that would indicate the amount of love that they have for themselves today. Because whether we like it or not, we do acquire an attachment style and core beliefs and a sense of self, whether it's a negative self-view or a positive self-view during our childhood, which then carries out into our adult years. And very often it will be mirrored back to us, that love, because one can only love us to the amount of love that we have for ourselves. So when I have someone, because I went through that too, that is asking me the question, why can't I find someone that loves me? Like, naturally, I want to figure out, how much do you actually love yourself? Right? So there's always going to be a relationship in your life. Thank you to Deepak Chopra for shining light into this subject of having dynamic versus static relationships. So there's going to be that friend or that family member or that romantic relationship that would be of a dynamic relationship to you, which means that they're going to tickle you and all your thorns that you have from within. Thorns are the childhood wounds, the core beliefs you acquired, your attachment style, your self-view. So those dynamic relationships are going to tickle everything from within us and will sort of be a compass to our inner, our inner programming. Like, they'll be a true mirror to what truly is going on from within us. And sure enough, when we delved deeper into their childhood, they did score an 8 out of 10 on the ACE test, Adverse Childhood Evaluation. I also scored an 8 out of 10, which is a true indication that the love that was needed and the boundaries that were needed and the 4 S's, to be safe, seen, secure, and soothed as a child, were just not present, which will then bring you to be either an anxious attached style individual as an adult, avoidant, and or disorganized, and you're going to be left with that question about loving because you haven't been able to cultivate love. So an avoidant will usually run away from love. So then what you want to do is, if you're finding yourself running from love, is what parts of yourself are you avoiding? And then you want to give love to those parts of yourself. And if you find yourself to be of an anxious attachment style, then you're probably needing constant validation all the time. And then you want to figure out, why am I needing constant validation from external sources all the time? Why am I not able to love myself and I need someone else to do that for me? So in both, and then of course there's disorganized. That's a bit more like like people like Ted Bundy, like those, I don't want to say psychopaths, but like those people that are completely disassociated from their emotional body. So we're just going to talk about anxious and avoidance. And then if you find yourself to be in one of those attachment styles as an adult, and you're finding that you're not you don't know how to love yourself because you were just not shown that example as a child. This is what we do now as adults to love ourselves. First of all, affirmations. When you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you say in the morning? When you walk by any mirror and you catch a glimpse of yourself, what is it that you say? When you pay attention to your inner dialogue, what is it actually saying about yourself? When you make a quote unquote mistake, how do you handle that? When you haven't accomplished all the things that you have desired to accomplish so far as a human being, how do you talk to yourself? Like how is that? That relationship should be impeccable. It should be loving, compassionate, giving unconditionally. It should be empathetic. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're such a loser. Like, you're like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you get anything right? Or, like, watch your inner dialogue and then give yourself love, like the way that you would hopefully talk to your children. Because my mother did not speak to me like that. She was very critical. So, of course, my inner critic that I developed in my mind was mimicking hers all the time. So I would constantly have that chatter in my head about what like a failure I was all the time. And I would find myself doing mistakes or errors, as naturally we do in our life quite often, whether we like it or not. It's just part of our living experience. And then I would just be so down on myself if I did that. And I just felt, like so unworthy. And then I felt judged all the time. And then I remember when I was doing my mental wellness course in counseling school, that was just a few years ago. And then I actually did my practicum with that same teacher in the mental wellness course, which teaches cognitive behavioral therapy, narrative therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. I remember when I was taking the class and we had to heal everything, and I would say things like, everyone is judging me, or like, I feel so judged by the moms at school. She would be like, oh, Anna, she would be like, they're just showing you how much you're actually judging yourself. And it's true. It was so liberating and so powerful when I understood what I was actually doing. So then I started to give myself love. Instead of judgment, I started to love myself in those situations that in my head I was judging what I was wearing, judging what I was looking, what I should be doing, where I should be, how much money I should have, how much success. As a mother, as anything, I dropped the judgment about myself, especially when I screwed up in life. I dropped the judgment, and sure enough, I started to feel less and less judged by other people. So that is one sure way to love yourself. Drop the shoulds. I could do this. Do I want to? Give yourself a choice. Love yourself in that way, not to be berating yourself. Oh, I should have been like this by now, or I should have had this and I didn't do that. I could do this, or I could be this, or I could be in this position. Do I really want to? Yes. What's really preventing me? Is it my core beliefs? Is it this limiting belief that I have about myself? If that's a yes, then that's not true. It's something that was acquired. And then if you're going to be scared at doing something because you don't think that you're worthy or not good enough, or like you can't, like you're just not good enough, you might as well be scared doing that as opposed to being scared not doing it. This is something I heard the other day and I was like, yeah, that's so true. Because the stronger the fear is getting, the louder it's knocking on your door to get your attention, so you can hold on to that belief, so you're on the brink of losing it. So then you also drop the fears and you give yourself the knowing that you are enough and you are worthy of everything. You love yourself in that way, and you allow yourself the opportunity to experience everything, and you drop the fear because that's man-made. You go back to love. You want to go back to love. Then you love your body. You give it good nutrition. You take it to the gym. You give it enough sleep. Then you love yourself, like you take yourself to walks and you connect to nature, or you take time out, or maybe you work a little bit less, or you work a little bit more. What is it that you're wanting? You spend a little bit more time with your friends. You allow yourself the opportunity to have fun, or to look good, or to buy a new piece of clothing. Like, these are all the ways that you love yourself without judging and or criticizing. And if you fall off your horse, again, you give yourself love and gratitude. for where you are in this moment, as opposed to guilting and shaming yourself, because that has no purpose. That will keep your vibration low and bring in more of those experiences. So you want to give yourself unconditional love so you can bring in more loving experiences into your life, so you can continue this cycle of gratitude and love. And again, you love yourself, you nourish yourself, you have fun, you allow yourself to do the things that are joyful. And then especially if you have a choice to disappoint yourself or to disappoint other people, you choose to disappoint other people. Always. That is a really big way to show yourself self-love and have boundaries. You don't allow people to cross your boundaries. That's a really big way to show self-love. So boundaries are, I can make a whole new episode on this. It's really huge. It basically defines what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And when those boundaries are crossed, you don't allow yourself to feel guilt or shame about having those boundaries in the first place, because you're hurting other people, because you know that if you're going to choose to hurt yourself or others, choose to hurt others, not you, because the other people are going to be okay, because you know deep down inside that you come first and you love yourself first. And then also knowing that it's okay to say no when you feel pressure to say yes. That's another really big way to love yourself. Don't say yes when you want to say no. You're betraying yourself and you're becoming a doormat. I've learned that the hard way too, because I thought the more I say yes to people, the more I would be loved. Didn't work that way. The more I said yes to people, the more they saw the leak in my energetic body, and the more they took advantage of it, and the less I actually felt loved, and the more I felt like I needed to give. But now that I have boundaries and I say no, people respect me so much more, because I respect myself so much more to not say no. I mean, not to not say yes when I want to say no. And that's okay too. I'm going to stop the video right here. I hope that this was helpful in the ways of knowing how to love ourselves. And if there's anything that you do to show yourself self-love, I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. Give me your ideas. I love your feedback, your comments, any sort of interaction you have with the channel, whether it's a minute or the whole video or a second, it doesn't matter. I'm so grateful for you and for this opportunity. And yeah, hit the notification button if you don't want to miss another video from me, and give it a thumbs up if you liked any of the content that you just saw in this video. And I will see you next time. Much love always.